Hey, 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 happy Wednesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, drumroll please, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. Tonight is Wednesday, May 4th, 2022. This is live stream 783. If this is your first time joining me, let me point out, super casual, hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news, and then taking a first look at a game. And tonight, we are going to take a peek at Monsters of the Wilderness, Oswald's Curse from Cawood Publishing. This is a bestiary for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, and it contains about 120 new creatures to bring to your game table. And we will be taking a peek at this in just a bit. Speaking of just a bit, so if you haven't tuned in before, maybe you're popping by to see the first look at Monsters of the Wilderness, let me point out, we do tackle the tabletop gaming news first, so that means we're not going to get into that first look for about 30 minutes or so. So if you're watching live, just kick back, put your feet up, relax, enjoy the latest tabletop gaming news and some gaming discussion as well. Of course, if you happen to watch this stream 30 minutes or more after it ends, there will be timestamps, so you can jump ahead, skip past the news if you want, although there is some pretty cool news tonight. There's always pretty cool gaming news on the show. But there are timestamps. They are available in the show notes, as well as, depending on the device you're using to watch, they might actually be embedded right there in the timeline of the video. So keep that in mind as well. So if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell, because it's not only going to let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central right here on YouTube. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my recent review of Pathfinder Punks in a Powder Keg, which is the first chapter of the Outlaws of Alkenstar Adventure Path from Paizo Inc. So check that out if you have not. Also should point out, if you are watching live, if you tend to tune into the show, you really should be giving it a thumbs up. So sometimes I notice we'll have like 30 viewers and then there's like 8 thumbs up, and it's kind of like, okay, but there were 15 people in chat. Because remember, how do we grow the channel? It's actually by engagement. And when you give a thumbs up, that's engagement. When you comment on a video, that's engagement. That shows YouTube that people are like, oh, hey, it's like, this is interesting. Maybe we'll share it with other people. No. So, once again, it is May 4th. So, it is Spaceballs Day. May the shorts be with you. Oh, wait a second. No, it's Star Wars Day. Sorry about that. Yes, may the 4th be with you. I still remember when I first saw Star Wars. Yes, I am old, so that means I saw it in a theater with my brother and my mom. And real quick, I'll share the story. We actually, my brother and I had been, we would take our allowance, which at that point was like $1 a week, and we would walk up to what we called the corner store. It was just a little pharmacy. It had a counter, amazingly enough, and I actually had a shake there one time. But this place was old. The building was probably from turn of the century. And when I say turn of the century, I mean 19th to 20th, not 20th, 21st. So we used to always go pick up comics, and we picked up Star Wars because we were Marvel fans. Picked up the first issue of Star Wars. We were like, oh, what is this? I don't know. And it was like, oh, it's a movie coming out. So when it came out, my brother and I convinced my mom to take us to see it. And I'll never forget that Star Destroyer comes flying over. It's like your kid mind is going, holy kid shit. Holy shnikes. Yes, yes. And movies have never been the same ever since. Yes, that is true. All right. Anyway, do want to point out when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you won't find here on the YouTube channel. And I should also point out, you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Lastly, this is a live stream, so that means there's chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But I do my best to pay attention to chat. So if you want to say howdy, maybe you've got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. Also, should point out you must be a subscriber to the channel for 48 hours or more before you can take part in chat. Yet another way that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. So it looks like we've got chat off and running tonight. We've got first out the gate was the Motor City Madman, who is one of our chat moderators. Wishing everybody a happy hump day. Tessie Trekkie is with us. Coco B and Helga Ratbone has arrived. Good to see you, Helga. Flaming Huron, our other chat moderator, is with us. Omanal, who is one of our reviewers on the gaminggang.com, is hanging out. So is Kathy Evans. So chat is off and running already. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. So let's jump on into the news because I've got quite a bit tonight. First off, Gale Force 9 and Paizo Inc. are teaming up to bring you a new Starfinder board game. It's coming this summer. Here's the dope on Pirates of Skydock. In the second title developed as part of a multi-game partnership between Gale Force 9 and Paizo, you attempt to commandeer a prototype immortal-class starship filled with top-secret tech. Can you escape Stardock aboard the vessel, or will you be caught red-handed? Starfinder Pirates of Stardock places players in the roles of adventurers attempting to seize a secret vessel located on Virces. To steal the starship, players must risk it all to complete dangerous tasks before they raise suspicion. Rising to these challenges requires earning glory through heroic deeds, asking for help from your friends, and perhaps obtaining a little support from external patrons who may or may not want to remain anonymous. Adventurers can work together to accomplish their goals, but only the character who has earned the most glory at the end of the game proves they have what it takes to be captain. During the game, adventurers scavenge for loot and mastermind cunning schemes. I've got a cunning scheme, me lord. Just doesn't sound right. To complete objectives, all while making sure the alarm doesn't get raised. Should it trigger, The starship launches before the adventurers are ready to escape, stranding them aboard the vessel. By equipping gear found aboard the ship, such as stun gauntlets and auto injectors, players can upgrade their character and seize control of the A-Tech Immortal before it's too late. Starfighter Pirates' Stardock is for 2 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays around 60 to 90 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $60 when it arrives in August. And it does appear that the adventures that are being utilized in this are the same that we see throughout many of the Starfinder releases, such as the starter set, the core rulebook. As you can see, there's some artwork right there of them. Kind of cool, kind of interesting. This could be a lot of fun. Playing your own little heist game, right? Up to 4 players. Hopefully there's a good selection of characters, not like only 4 for you to choose from. So we shall see. I'm not sure if I'll get a chance to see this up close and personal because it's actually from Gale Force 9, not through Paizo. So, and I really have absolutely no relationship with Gale Force 9. All right. Hitting stores this spring is Carnegie, or as some folks pronounce the last name Carnegie. I always heard Carnegie, but I hear Carnegie as well. Regardless, here's the latest from Pegasus Spiele. Carnegie was inspired by the life of Andrew Carnegie, who was born in Scotland in 1835. Andrew Carnegie and his parents emigrated to the United States in 1848. Although he started his career as a telegraphist, his role as one of the major players in the rise of the United States steel industry made him one of the richest men in the world and an icon of the American dream. Andrew Carnegie was also a benefactor and philanthropist. Upon his death in 1919, more than $350 million of his wealth was bequeathed to various foundations, with another $30 million going to various charities. Now remember, this is in 1919 money. Yowza. His endowments created nearly 2,500 free public libraries that bear his name, the Carnegie Libraries. During the game, you will recruit and manage employees, expand your business, invest in real estate, produce and sell goods, and create transport chains across the United States. You may even work with important personalities of the era. Perhaps you will even become an illustrious benefactor who contributes to the greatness of his country through deeds and generosity. Oh, absolutely not. I'm a robber baron. I'm taking it all with me, all of it. The game takes place over 20 rounds. Players will each have 1 turn per round. On each turn, the active player will choose one of 4 actions, which the other players may follow. The goal of the game is to build the most prestigious company, as symbolized by victory points. Carnegie is for 1 to 4 players, ages 12 and up. That seems kind of low for a game like this. Plays in 90 to 120 minutes. Will carry an MSRP of $69.99 when it hits stores sometime later in this quarter. So it is a spring release. This month, next month, we shall see. We shall see. Maybe June. I don't know. This looks kind of interesting. I like the art style as well. And I also appreciate taking a look at that map where it's the United States and there's like circles there. And I kind of get the impression those circles are kind of like the potential of those cities, like economically. And I appreciate the fact that Chicago, New York, and San Francisco all have, like, I think it's like 5 circles. And that is historically correct. I like that. I think that is cool. One of the items that I thought was kind of interesting is like Los Angeles has just like, I think 2 or 3 circles, which would be historically correct. Los Angeles wasn't a big deal in the early part of the 20th century at all. It was kind of a small town. Even when Hollywood started to take off in the 1920s and 30s, it was still pretty much a small town. So, Coco B mentions there is a Carnegie Library in their city, but it was built in 1904. I'm always curious if they get to crush unions. Hey, yes, Omanal points out interesting about New Orleans or Nolans. That has a lot of capacity as well. I thought this looks kind of cool. I'm kind of curious about it, and I like games where when it's the active player's turn and they choose an action that the other players can perform the same action. I always like games like that. I think those are kind of interesting. It's an interesting mechanic. All right, let's talk about some role-playing game news because arriving in July is Inferno, Dante's Guide to Hell for 5e. Here's the details about the release from Acheron Books. Inferno was the first original 5th edition Dante-esque campaign setting. Designed by Two Little Mice and published by Acheron Games, this volume is a labor of love which took 3 years to complete, adapting Dante's The Divine Comedy into a tabletop role-playing game. The core book, Dante's Guide to Hell, is the game's player's handbook, and it focuses on character creation and options, setting specific rules, and a deep description of the Inferno itself. It can be read by players, and it explains why the PCs are there. You went to hell, that's your problem. Who they are and what they can do in hell, besides burn, and how they can leave this supernatural realm. In Inferno, players are lost ones, living beings forced to enter hell for some reason and trying to complete their voyage to the last gate, the only exit before losing their hope. The origin of the lost ones can be customized by players to obtain different traits, backgrounds, and features. Other important rules of the setting include hope, the most important PC resource, and the infernal emblems, the legacy gear of the lost ones. The volume describes in detail 12 brand new archetypes with first to 20th level progression. Each archetype is a philological, okay, I used to say that word, a philological combination of traits, powers, and suggestions directly taken from Dante's imagination. The book also includes a complete description of hell, inspired by Dante's masterpiece. The hardcover of Inferno, Dante's Guide to Hell will carry an MSRP of $49 when it arrives this summer. So I have heard 2 release dates. I have heard July, and I have also heard August. And it's from 2 different distributors. So I don't know. And of course, I went to the website itself to check it out, and they don't show this because it's not showing in their English translation books yet. So if you're not familiar with this company, they did, I think it's called Broncolonia? Something along those, it's like spaghetti fantasy. It won a bunch of awards. It actually looked kind of interesting as well. This successfully kickstarted. This is actually going to be a 3-volume set. The core book, the player's handbook, is the Guide to Hell. There is also going to be a Game Master's book. And then I think there's an adventure book. I think that's what the 3rd title will be. All right, moving right along. A new venture has arrived for Achtung Cthulhu 2D20. Here's a dope from Modiphius Entertainment on Operation Marseille. Survive the nighttime terrors of occupied France. Having received intelligence from its Maquis allies in southern France, Section M drops a team of agents into Vichy-controlled Marseille in the summer of 1941 to disrupt a powerful Black Sun ritual linked to the Dreamlands. While the mission is a success, at least partially, the agents suddenly find their resistance contact gone, their escape route compromised, and themselves stranded in nighttime Marseille, with Vichy forces on the alert and Black Sun hunters on their tail. But that is not their only problem, as things take a decided turn for the weird, as they are dogged by strange phenomena and bizarre incidents which transport them from Marseille into a number of surreal hallucinogenic encounters. Yes. Are these incidents real or just hallucinations brought on by some afterimage of the ritual? And can the agents find a way to shake off these supernatural encounters, escape the Black Sun's pursuit, and cut a deal with the Marseille mob to escape from occupied France before dawn breaks? Find out in this latest thrilling mission for Achtung Cthulhu 2D20. Operation Marseille is a 33-page PDF adventure for 4 to 6 players in both standard and printer-friendly formats. It can be run as a one-off adventure or easily incorporated into ongoing campaigns. Embark on a wild, hallucinogenic ride which hurls agents from the streets of nighttime Marseille to strange chasms, clockwork cities, and a meeting with a terrifying great old one. Also features an intriguing mix of combat, stealth, negotiation, and sanity-challenging encounters. It's packed with incident and adventure. Operation Marseille features maps, playing aids, and handouts to enhance the playing experience for both players and game masters. Of course, do want to point out, it does require the Achtung Cthulhu 2D20 core books in order to run. This 33-page adventure PDF is available right now over at DriveThruRPG for $7. Cha-ching! I like to see the continued support for Achtung Cthulhu, and especially now that it's got its own system. It's no longer derived from Call of Cthulhu. It is a 2D20 system, which at some point we might get to see those core books. I have reached out to my contact over at Modiphius Entertainment. I was kind of curious, maybe get a hold of these, even though, got to be honest, I have had the 2 core books reviewed already on the website, but those were PDFs. We've never actually gotten a up close and personal look at the 2 core books. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. So Kevin R. Smith is with us, and 245 Trioxin is also in chat. I think I've said hello to everybody so far. Tessie Trekkie points out Broken Compass is an awesome pulp role-playing game. I have heard of it. I've never actually seen it, but I have heard of Broken Compass, and I think it's relatively recent, isn't it? I'm pretty sure. All right, on to the final news piece. There is a fresh mini supplement which has arrived for They Came from Beyond the Grave. From Onyx Path Publishing, here's the scoop on They Came from Karnstein's Cabinet of Curiosities. For every artifact, there's a tale. For every relic, a warning. Yet still you feel the lure to rifle through Karnstein's wares. You want to see the mystical, experience the forbidden, and taste the obscene. How do you taste the obscene? That tastes obscene. Dare you enter Karnstein's Cabinet of Curiosities? This tasty bit for They Came from Beyond the Grave. I just love saying it like that. Contains a plethora of story hooks for your Beyond the Grave games. a new setting to use for your adventures, and new conditions to inflict on your protagonists, among many more fun and mysterious features. This PDF is part of the Story Path Tasty Bits program, where every month in 2022, Onyx Path offers a small product that ties into one of its Story Path games. This 10-page PDF is available at DriveThruRPG for $1.99. Yes. Sammy has really enjoyed these Story Path games. She has reviewed They Came From Beyond. Oh, no. Yeah, isn't it? No, They Came From Beneath the Sea. And a few of those titles she's really liked. I believe we've got They Came From Beyond the Grave coming soon as a review. So we shall see that as well. And there have been a few releases for that, which it's supposed to be kind of a 1970s, I don't want to say schlock horror. And I don't want to say I guess closer to exploitation horror role-playing game. So, and I was kind of surprised by the rather risque cover to this 10-page PDF. Nah. All right, that is it for tonight's news. Of course, I was just talking about DriveThruRPG. Don't forget, the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit DriveThruRPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Should also point out they've got something new. I think it's for the month of May. I don't know if it's going to go beyond that. But for Dungeons and Dragons, every Monday, there are going to be new items on sale. So I did notice there was quite a bit of second edition D&D releases that are on sale in PDF. So every Monday, I think that's going to change. So that is something to keep an eye on. Grab a quick sip here. Of course, I should also mention, if you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you feel thegaminggang.com is a valuable resource, if you like what we do, by all means, you can always swing by paypal.me/thegaminggang to make a small donation. And a big shout out to Harold Vogel, who recently made a donation to help keep thegaminggang.com around. So, a few things I do want to mention before we jump on into Monsters of the Wilderness. First of all, tomorrow on the Epic Game Store, you'll be able to get, excuse me, starting at 10 o'clock. Boy, I tell you, it is oddly dry down here in the Duct Tape Studios tonight. And it's I feel like I've got a little piece of fuzz hanging on the end of my nose. Get off me! Get off me! Better than a tarantula on my chest, but I think it's gone. Anyway, so starting tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central, over on epicgames.com, you'll be able to get the digital edition of Terraforming Mars absolutely free. So don't miss out. Every Thursday over on thegaminggang.com, we share what is that week's freebies from Epic Games, as well as let you know what's coming for free the following week as well. So don't forget, it is a port of the board game. I got to be honest, I tried it when it was still being play tested, and the user interface wasn't great. I'm assuming that's been taken care of. Strangely enough, I had a code to the beta, but that didn't count as a code for the game when it went live. So I thought that was very strange. So that was over on Steam, but it's not on Steam that you're getting it free. It's on epicgames.com starting at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Also, all through the month of June, it is going to be Fantasy Role-Playing Game Month here on the Dispatch. So every episode, knock on wood, I will be sharing some fantasy role-playing game content. Now, it might be first looks, could be reviews. We shall see. We will find out. Also, if you've been hanging around the gaming gang long enough, you've seen I've done some auctions. I am actually going to list some board games, some role-playing game stuff, war games, but it's going to be a first come, first served. So I believe I'm going to actually put that out there on Monday. And I'm probably going to have like 10 or 15 items. And rather than doing, an auction, it's just first come, first serve. So basically all you're going to need to do is, if you want dibs on something, put it in the comment section with your email address. I will touch base with you and we will take it from there. So yeah, the whole trying to do stuff on eBay is just ridiculous. It's a waste of time. All right, finally, I've had a few people email me. They are not like, I don't think they're regular viewers or anything like that, because they're certainly not people who take part in chat, at least as far as I understand. And they've commented that, I should be a lot more serious. And I'm like, what? It's like, I goof off. I joke around a little too much. Like when I'm doing the news and that. Like, seriously? It's like, aren't there enough people out there who take this hobby just way too flippin' seriously? It's not my style. Sorry. That ain't gonna change, Dooley. It is what it is. The man said they always love the auctions. A lot of good stuff. Yes, I have tons and tons of stuff. And I could bring it down to Gen Con. Well, not all of it. It's like I need a truck. I could bring some of it down to Gen Con because I actually usually do really well with the Gen Con auctions. And especially since there wasn't one last year, but there's supposed to be one this year. I don't know if I really want to drag all that stuff with. So I'm up in the air. I'll probably bring some stuff, but usually I bring like 6 or 7 boxes where I actually have to have a cart that I wheel the stuff in. So Flaming Heron's like, huh? Must be I'm too silly. I'm like, I'm really not that silly. It's like I'm kind of, yeah, well, every once in a while I'll throw out a wisecrack, or if it's, the title of something is really long, I'll say that 5 times fast. So I don't know. Flaming Huron says, yes, I must be super serious, like a news reader. In today's news, it's all bad. That's right, it's all bad. See, that's another thing that I kind of look at, like, I watch the news, I read the news, and I'm talking real news, not game news. And it's sort of like, it's like, no, we never have like a lot of good news. So to me, I'm kind of like, why not be a little silly? Because it's like, there's enough serious shit going on in this world. We don't need to, Coco B says that they come for the witty banter and stay for the reviews. Yes. Got some reviews this weekend, fingers crossed. Gonna be playing some games this weekend too. Fingers crossed. Kevin says games about spaceships and dragons are serious business, I guess. Well, it is serious business for businesses. I wonder if these are the same people who are always stirring up political stuff in RPG social media. Could be. We know there's just people out there that just are never happy with anything. I mean, they weren't like really busting my chops. They were just like, oh, one of them was, and I get this from time to time. Like yesterday's show, I was maybe goofing off a little more than I usually do, but still, it's hanging out, having some fun. But they had mentioned something along the lines of they're kind of surprised that publishers don't get upset when I, kind of joke around when I'm talking about like their press release stuff. It's like, what are you talking about? They're getting free publicity. Why would they be upset? Okay, well, if you're upset, that's fine. I just won't talk about your company anymore. So, all righty. Kevin says they might just think it's goofy because they're too young to remember Memorex or even have a clue what Memorex is. I know. Sarah D's popping in saying hi. Saying, I wouldn't be lurking if you were reading the news like Ben Stein. I started watching because Eddie T was watching in the other room, and you made it sound fun. She's saying hello. Flaming Run points out it's all advertising. That's right. All publicity is good publicity, even bad publicity. Which I don't know if I agree with that completely, but still. All right, so tonight we're going to be taking a look at Monsters of the Wilderness. But first, it is time for a brief intermission.
It's intermission time, folks.
Once again, we join the adorable penguin family in their quest for fun, adventure, and delectable treats along the highways and byways of America.
Penguins? Not again! I'm thirsty.
Me too.
Uh-oh.
Here.
Looks like another job for Clark Crow. Here goes! Charge! That should do it. Now, how about something cold and refreshing for those dry throats?
I'd like a Diet Coke.
I'll take an ice cold Coke.
Sprite for me, eh?
There's plenty of popcorn and candy, too.
Four score. Four more cups of Coke, please.
Fully! We cannot tell a lie.
Coke is it.
Now it's your turn to join me at the snack bar for some wonderful refreshments.
Where's everybody going? To the refreshment center. It's everybody's favorite spot for delicious, tasty food from a snack to a full meal. Drinks, coffee, hot chocolate, and ice-cold drinks of all flavors, plus all the extras, including gum, ice cream, candy. Make your evening at this drive-in even more enjoyable. The refreshment stand has everything to make your visit here a pleasant one. Why not get something now?
And now, on with the show.
So let me get this straight. Were those penguins, were they lugging around a casket? Were they carrying around a dead body? Were they trying to stash a dead body in the Black Hills of South Dakota? It's like, what the hell was that? And you may have noticed our winking guy from last night's intermission is back. So I've pointed out before, I've got a bunch of this stuff. And it seems as if that drive-ins and like theaters could buy kind of like this stock footage and just splice it all together. So that's where winking guy comes from. And the mom sitting there, it's kind of like at the end, you see her take a sip and you can read her lips. She says, "Oh my." It's like, ooh, that gin's got a kick. All right, Tasted Trekkie has shot along a super chat. Super call. Thank you very much. And you're very welcome. Putting out thanks for what I do. Well, thank you very much for hanging out. If you didn't hang out, I wouldn't do this. You're like, yeah, hey, everybody who's not here, hi. All right, so tonight I am going to dive on into Monsters of the Wilderness, Oswald's Curse from Cawood Publishing. The book is written by Andrew Cawood with artwork provided by Travis Hansen. This 160-page hardcover is available from DriveThruRPG for $39.95. You can get the premium softcover for $29.95 or snag the PDF for $14.95. Do want to mention the PDF is currently on sale. Remember I was talking about the Dungeons and Dragons stuff that's on sale, that there's certain things that they've chosen? I think this is one of them, because right now you can get the PDF for $11.96. And you can also get the hardcover and softcover with PDF for less than just buying just the hardcover or the softcover. Interestingly enough. So let's swing on over to the other camera, because here I've got Monsters of the Wilderness. So I got to point out that Andrew Cawood was kind enough to provide me with this review copy. I have actually shared the other 3 bestiaries that Cawood Publishing has released as well. So this brings to the total of monsters that are part of the World of Myr. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's MYRR. To about 450. So pretty sweet. And they're pretty fun. They're really interesting stat blocks and the creatures and things like that. And I like the art style as well. So taking a look at the back here, don't have much to read. Cawood Publishing presents over 120 new monsters for 5th edition. Anyway, of course, Andrew sent this along, but keep in mind, neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. And as I point out all the time, these days it's important that you know that. Also, I'm going to say picture in picture up here. So as I take a peek through, I'll be cutting off a little bit of the upper left portion of the book. We're not going to look at each and every page, I should point out, but I do want to give you a good feel for what's in Monsters of the Wilderness. So usually with these bestiaries that Cawood Publishing does, oh, geez, look, for Jeff, and it's autographed. Look at that. I got to say, I think that's the first time anybody's ever written in a book that they've sent me. Honestly. Of course, this is the first time I'm cracking this open, so. I was going to say, usually what we see in these bestiaries from Cawood Publishing is they'll actually kind of break the region down into different, like, subsections. So I'm going to take a guess that we're going to see the same thing with the wilderness. We're going to see different wilderness terrains that are going to be covered. So Madman says, just looking at the cover makes it look like a lot of fun. Yeah, I like the art style from Travis Hansen. Some people might feel that it's a little too cartoonish. And I get that. I understand that. But it's kind of fun. It's pretty cool. And one of the things that I really appreciate is it's uniform throughout. Because, in my opinion, I would rather have a unique style of art, even if it's not to everyone's taste, as opposed to a hodgepodge of all different stuff. So Kevin mentions, completely off topic, just looked at the D&D sale at DriveThru, and it looks like a bunch of 2nd edition Spelljammer. So if you like your space hamsters and space hippos. Yeah, I noticed that too. It was quite a bit of the Spelljammer. There's a lot of discussion right now about Dragonlance and Spelljammer, and I got to be honest. I mean, I'm going into it with an open mind, but the way things have been going on with Wizards of the Coast, I get the feeling that people are super excited and super pumped because they played Spelljammer back in the day, or they played Dragonlance back in the day, which I got to be honest, I don't know what the big deal about Dragonlance is because the people I know who played it did not care for it because it was like really on rails. And the player characters kind of took the back seat to the main characters of the novels. So I don't know. I've never read it, never seen it. I'm just going by what people have told me. I think those people are going to be disappointed. just, just a gut feeling I've got. All right, so we got some game master advice here. The wilderness is a primal landscape and a perfect setting for endless adventures. I like doing wilderness stuff in my fantasy role-playing games. I try to do about 35% dungeon delving and the rest, like city environments, wilderness, stuff like that. What is the climate like? Are there natural obstacles? How do people travel around? What is the history of the area? Are there settlements, farms, ranches, castles, watchtowers, roadside inns, and taverns nearby? Hopefully there's taverns. Do these settlements have walls to keep out beasts and other monsters? So these are just some things, and there's more for game masters to think about. Surprised they used the term game master, seeing that this is for 5e. They could have said dungeon master. This is open game license. Oswald Mir, the Wizard of Zog. Oswald Mir is a legendary wizard and new member of the Alliance of the Griffin. Some call him the Wizard of Zog after his homeland. Oswald currently lives in a secret woodland manor on the continent of Nairn. The people of Zog and Mir believe the wizard died 500 years ago. However, he is still alive and on a path of redemption. Long ago, he was banished from the Wizard Council for his hazardous experiments. After causing so much turmoil, the ancient mage has joined the Alliance to try to make things right. He usually rides a Pegasus as his mount. Oswald's stat block, along with his mother's and father's, can be found in the Mir family section, beginning on page 146. And that talks about his curse. So there we go. All right, so now we're going to jump right on in to the stat blocks. Cerebrax. The first monsters that entered the world through rift gates were the Cerebrax. And they're psionic creatures, thus the big brain mass there. Kevin says they heard the modules were that way, kind of like on rails. Wonder what kind of campaigns people put together since Kevin never played it. Yeah, I was no longer doing D&D. And I don't want to be like stealing thunder away from this book because this book is, I'm sure it's going to be great. The other three I've reviewed, I've given really high scores to. But as much of like a fond nostalgia I have for D&D and advanced D&D, I didn't play a ton. Or actually, I should say, I didn't play for that long. Probably only a couple of years. And then, of course, that's when I stumbled across Call of Cthulhu and became the forever keeper. So I would say I probably run more fantasy role-playing game stuff now, or at least in the past, say, 3 years, than I had all throughout high school and college. So isn't that weird? But I still have a really fond nostalgia for especially advanced D&D. All right, so taking a look at some of these monsters. Are we going to get like a little note from Oswald on each of these? So Kevin says the open game license specifically forbids using trademarks to indicate compatibility. So the SRD for 5e says Game Master. Gotcha. All right, so these look like these are all undersea creatures here. The demon crab. Yeah, I was going to joke about that. Well, I better not. Better not. Go get rid. Go buy some rid. You can take care of that demon crab or crabs. Thankfully, not something I've ever had to deal with. King Nimos and the Merfolk, a Selkie, Undead Pirate. Oswald's notes. Once the Wizard Council sees I've stabilized most of the rift gates, they'll have to reinstate me. I'm the greatest wizard who ever lived. Oh, I guess so. Maybe these notes throughout are not regarding the monsters, just little tidbits from Oswald. All right, so that was all undersea or sea related. Here we got Arctic. The Ragnar, a gargantuan monstrosity, chaotic evil. My gosh. Hey, now hold on a second there. Shouldn't it be typically? I don't want to pigeonhole all the Ragnar out there as being chaotic evil. I think that's so silly. But then again, I'm an adult. So what can I tell you? All right, we got the Ice Dragon. Huge, chaotic evil. Cool intellect. Unlike its white dragon cousin, the Ice Dragon is rather intelligent. In fact, it is wily and clever. These dragons know when they're outmatched and won't hesitate to fight again another day. An ice dragon will usually make its home in a large ice cavern. Make sure to choose a strategic location it can defend. Thanks. I like the artwork. I'll point this out once again. I don't find it too cartoonish. I mean, it's just got that kind of, a certain style to it. That's all. The Nordic. Isn't that an exercise machine? People of the Sky. I wonder if they're related to the spirit in the sky. One of the great mysteries of the mortal realm is the Northern Lights. The source of this phenomenon are the people of the sky. These huge fae beings cross over from Phaland to lure creatures into other worlds. Flaming Heron says, just be careful where you sail, Jeff. Yep. Yep, you got to be careful what port you make stops in. Vuthar the Volkdar King. The Great Sword of Hell. As an enormous airship flies through a blizzard, a cloaked Vothar barks out orders to his troops. This is Vuthar, the powerful king of the Vothar. An extremely tall and handsome snow elf. He stands out in a crowd. Obviously, we've got some snow elf stats, I would guess. In his grasp is a legendary weapon known as the Great Sword of Hell. Legends say the weapon was gifted to him by a very influential archdevil. Just kind of getting a little bit of an Elric vibe there. Wee bit, little bit, sort of. Sort of, kind of, sort of. The Great Sand Shark. Must be related to the land shark. The old Saturday Night Live skit. Land shark. All right. Dune bug. Rides on a dune buggy. Group of explorers climbs yet another sand dune. Once at the top, the party looks out at all the dunes stretching out to the horizon. Then a giant beetle crests the closest one. It flips onto its back and slides down. So I would guess it's able to flip itself back over. Otherwise, it'd just be committing suicide. So we've got the Dune Winder, or Winder. Looks like kind of a giant Arrakis worm. Okay, so we've got the Desert Folk of the World of Mir. Next, we get the the Were Meerkat. The Were Meerkat. Right there. Next, we get into the jungle swamp region. Let's see what we've got in here. Got the bog hopper. Ooh, that looks kind of creepy. Evil Kniezel, the swamp weasel. As in Evil Knievel. An unstable wooden contraption hurtles out of control off a tree branch. Piloting the odd vehicle is a grinning weasel. The weird apparatus flies through the air and crashes into a swamp. Dusting himself off, the weasel chuckles and dashes off. Evil Kniezel used to be the trusted familiar of Oswald Mir. He enjoyed his place in one of the legendary wizard's towers. And he's chaotic evil. Hey, I don't understand that. Why would that be? Murder hornets. Hey, sweet. These are the real stat blocks from up in Washington State. The Marsh Hulk. Kind of looks a little bit like Swamp Thing. A wee bit. Well, yeah, it looks more like Swamp Thing than Man Thing. All right, so the Screech Leech. Ooh, yuck. Pretty large. The Salomon Shaman. We're now into forest. Yep. So we get into the forest region with the Arborian. It's another gargantuan titan. Baba Yaga's hut. Black Stag. Of course, with all bestiaries, there's some crossover, with different creatures and things like that. Madman says his daughter would love the Evil Kniezel. Fawn of the Dead. So as you can see, there is a sense of humor to this bestiary. But then again, it's not just absolutely silliness either. The Pumpkin King. The most dangerous trickster in the woods is the Pumpkin King. He rules a gloomy, eerie forest far from most settlements. This fae is like an out-of-control teenager and causes chaos wherever he goes. In one hand, he wields a great black scythe. In his other, he holds a flaming pumpkin. Well, that's nice. All right, Testy Trekkie is rocking and rolling. Good to see you. Hopefully, we'll see you next week. Remember, next week is all Ruins of Symborum week here on the Dispatch. So, Flaming Heron says, it's a bestiary. You can't have a sense of humor. Now behave. Right. That's right. I'm sorry. It's all serious here. Then we have Grim Giant, Hillhound, Odsod, Sinka. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yes, pulling you down. And then the sod, the grass. Yeah, the funny thing is, whenever I'm like looking through a bestiary, I'm always sitting there thinking, I could see utilizing that. Yeah. All right, so we've got the mountain region here. Volcan. Another Titan. Deadly Path. Okay. A cliffhanger. All right. Stone Shaper. I think this is going to be our last section. Our last, terrain region. Yep, that is. Thunderpaw. So then we've got our monsters by challenge rating. And creature type. Oh, here we go. Here's the Mir family. So we get a breakdown on Oswald, who there's Oswald as a youngster, and that is Oswald being undead for 500 years, I guess. Kevin says, you can't be funny even if the product's funny. Them's the rules. You pays you money, you takes your chances. So his mother was a night hag, And his father was a Lich King. There we go. So now we get some player character subclasses. The Druid Circle of the Griffin. The Ranger Wild One Conclave. Some event tables. We already had some random encounters tables in each of the beginnings of the sections. So more events. And more encounter tables. So this is just a D100 wilderness location over here. And then we have NPC encounters. Then we get a map of, whoops, let's do it that way. We get a map of the world of Mir. As far as I understand, Cawood Publishing has only released the bestiaries. I don't think there's like a setting book. Let's see if there's an ad. Here we go. Okay. Well, there you go. Here are the bestiaries, right? So we got Monsters of Phaeland, Monsters of the City, Sins and Virtues, and Monsters of the Underworld. So those are the 3 supplements. And of course, now we've got Monsters of the Wilderness, Oswald's Curse. But there is no like World of Mir setting book. But each of the bestiaries have had like sections that discuss the world. So, and then kind of like even in the entry information for each of the creatures and monsters and things like that, there's also little tidbits about the world of Mir as well. So I'm kind of curious if we'll see a setting book from Cawood Publishing. I believe there is a new Kickstarter on the horizon from Cawood Publishing as well. So I am not positive what that book is. I think, honestly, it's another bestiary. And, of course, once that goes live, I'll be sharing that news as well. Once again, Monsters of the Wilderness, Oswald's Curse is from Cawood Publishing. It is available in hardcover, just like this, from DriveThruRPG for $39.95, in softcover for $29.95, or grab the PDF right now, currently on sale, for $11.96, as opposed to its regular price of $14.95. Taking a guess, that sale price probably runs until Sunday, off the top of my head. All right, and of course, I'll have a review of Monsters of the Wilderness, Oswald's Curse, in the very near future. Sweet. All righty. So, you might be wondering, Kevin says, where's the frankincense family? Yeah. What's up with that? Anyway, you might be wondering what's cooking next week. All next week on the Dispatch, it is Ruins of Symborum Week. That's right. This is eagerly anticipated. Well, the game is, not my coverage of it. Anyway, on Monday's show, we'll be taking a look at the Player's Guide to Ruins of Symborum, which, of course, is for 5e. It is the very popular and award-winning Symborum setting from Free League Publishing, ported over to 5e. Then, Tuesday, we'll look at the Game Master's Guide. And then, you know what? I think on Tuesday, we'll also look at the Game Master's Screen, because that ties on into that. And I think this has a little adventure in it. I think. Maybe not. But we'll take a look at this. And then, of course, on Wednesday, we will wrap up by taking a peek at the bestiary as well. So Flaming Heron says, yeah, really looking forward to the changes to the 5e version of Symborum. I am curious about this as well. So I kind of get the feeling we're going to have some different artwork. I'm not positive. I have not cracked these open. You know, when I do a first look, it really is a first look, especially when you see me stumbling over the text on the back of the books. Yeah, I should probably read that in advance, huh? To me, that's cheating. That's cheating. I'm not going to read that yet. Wait till Monday. But yeah, I'm kind of curious about this. And I like Symborum. I think Symborum is a cool, kind of like dark fairy tale setting without being super grimdark. It's not Shadow of the Demon Lord or Lamentations of the Flame Princess kind of stuff. But it is, and it kind of ties into some of those like Nordic fairy tales and stuff. I really do think it's really, really cool. So the Madman points out that they got their Savage Worlds Pathfinder Kickstarter stuff today. Lots of good stuff in a very full box. Sweet. Very nice. I'd be curious to check that out. Once again, I don't really have much of a relationship with Pinnacle Entertainment Group. So otherwise I'd share, Savage World stuff with you guys. Anyway, there was one other thing that I was going to mention, and now oh, I know what I was going to say. So I remember yesterday I was talking about a package coming from Poland that I have absolutely no idea what it is. Obviously, it's games of some sort, and it has been delayed, and it was supposed to arrive originally on Monday, and then it was like in Norway or something like that. So it was supposed to show up today, and of course it's delayed again, but at least it's in the States. I think it's in Memphis, Tennessee right now. So I'm kind of curious. I was hoping to share what was in it on tonight's show, but it did not arrive. Okay, so that is it for tonight's show. Of course, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central right here on YouTube. Also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming review of Starfinder, Allies Against the Eye from Paizo Inc. This is the 5th chapter in the Horizons of the Vast adventure path. So take a peek. I'll have that up this weekend. I will hopefully be putting together some videos over the weekend. Of course, Sunday is Mother's Day. I hope all the moms out there who are watching, which I don't think I'm real popular with the moms, but still, I want to wish everybody out there a very happy Mother's Day, and to everybody else's mom. So our viewers' moms, I hope everybody enjoys a wonderful Sunday with family and friends and moms. So, and I think we're going to go see, after the family gets together for Mother's Day, I think we're going to go see Doctor Strange. So I think that's what's on the agenda for this weekend. And Saturday, we're supposed to be gaming all afternoon long. We were supposed to do that last week, and that blew up. So we didn't, unfortunately. All righty. So those of you who are watching live, thank you very much. Always appreciate you tuning in to keep me company. Those of you who took part in chat, a tip of the cap. Thank you so much for doing a little, back and forth. I enjoy that. You prove that you're paying attention as well. And then, of course, I know a lot of people out there, they don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter how you watch, live or on Memorex, which Memorex used to be a recording system of tapes. It was Memorex, so you couldn't tell if it was live or the recording. Memorex was that good. In case you didn't know what Memorex was, they were tapes. Could be audio tapes, videotapes, didn't matter. Couldn't tell the difference if it was live or on Memorex. Although you could, really. All right. Anyway, everybody enjoy the rest of your week and have a great weekend. Once again, a very happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there and all of your moms out there. Of course, I will be back on Monday. And here's hoping each and every one of you gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang. Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. Check out the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, or find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks for watching.